And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Loots. You may notice the menu looks a little bit different. That's because I'm playing MLB The Show today. Feels good. I've been having a lot of fun playing MLB The Show. It's weird playing a game that's not 2K, a game that doesn't actively hate you. So, one thing I often find myself not necessarily wondering, but thinking often, which I guess is the same thing realistically when I say it out loud, is I watch content from people who play certain games, and maybe they're competitive level, maybe they're content creators, but I always find myself wondering, like, man, I want to hear like another person who's not very good at this game tell me what to do and what works. So that is why I am here. I suck at this game, but we're going to talk about some potential, interesting ways that you could start and begin your no money spent journey on Diamond Dynasty. Right off the bat, your team is going to suck instantaneously. My team, still not good, and I've been playing it all week, okay? That's just facts. So where should you begin? I would say the first way that you should begin is by trying to go through the Faces of Franchise program. I mean, obviously, that's the number one thing that you want to do is try to go through what is essentially the level 40 grind in MLB The Show. Now, one way you could do this is the way I would recommend starting, which would be to do the AL and NL Faces of the Franchise Showdown. They can get a little tough too, but right off the bat, you're going to get 30,000 XP and you're going to be able to get one of these here packs that's going to help you build your squad up. Now, once you get one of these packs, who should you choose? Now, interesting, and it's also very subjective, so it's hard for me to say. I would say with the first pack, because you get to pick 1 out of 5 players 3 times. First set, you get a chance between Trey Mancini, Johnny Damon. I said chance, but I meant choice. Mariano Rivera, Kazmir, and Aaron Sanchez. Now, naturally, you're probably going to want to take Mariano Rivera. And honestly, I would not fault you for that. Rivera is real solid. And honestly, it helps to have a good back-end closer for sure. But if you don't want to take Mariano, you have your eye on someone else. Trey Mancini can really hold it down. I've been having a good time with this card, and he does smack shots for sure. His defense is pretty poor, but he can play first base if you need him to, which is totally fine. Doesn't really matter. Honestly, that's where you're going to want to stick your worst, defensive player in real life anyway. So Mancini is a good option if you don't want to take Rivera, but I think Rivera is probably the best option to take. Definitely do not take Scott Kazmir, Aaron Sanchez, or Johnny Damon. Shout out to Johnny Damon. For what? I don't know. And by the way, when I say shout out to people, because I mean, most of the people who watch this video are going to be people who watch me in 2K. When I shout out players, it's typically for a bad reason. Like, I'm shouting out Johnny Damon because he has like 6 DUIs. Next set. This is a pretty bad one, honestly. It's really tough to say. Cliff Lee is probably the best, especially if you need a starter, but my money's probably on Konerko. He's probably overall the best out of these guys. I wouldn't really advise against Trammell too, because he can play third base, shortstop, left field, and center field, and he's kind of a decent hitter. You're not going to get any power from him, but you're going to get decent on-base percentage for sure from him. So I would take one of these 2 guys. The final one, it's going to be tough not to take Ken Griffey Jr. Chris Davis is horrible. Do not take him. Jim Edmonds and Jason Castro are probably the 2 that I would choose between. I would say take Jason Castro just because he gives you a reliable backstop, which is really, really helpful because catchers are really in short supply, like in this game, especially ones that are usable. So I would say Jason Castro is probably the guy, but Jim Edmonds is easily the best hitter in this crew. I actually like Michael Young a lot too, though. Once you get to the NL, just talk about this real quick. First one, no question, John Smoltz. John Smoltz is fantastic. This is my boy right here. Like, he holds down my squad. Like, no question. If I need him to come through and shut an inning down, my man can do it. I like him a lot. Next up, I mean, probably Rob Dibble. He does throw over 100 miles per hour with absolutely zero control. He's essentially Wild Thing from the movie Major League. He does have a mullet, which is kind of cool. I do respect that. I actually really like Billy Williams, too. I don't know. What you're going to find in this game, especially early on, is you're going to find random guys who you just hit better with, even though their stats don't indicate anything like that would be happening. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you could pick up a dude who has way better hitting stats than Billy Williams, but you'll still hit much better with him. So that's kind of who I would recommend taking here, but that's also very subjective. I think the overall best players to take would be Molitor if you're looking for like a average guy, or Dibble if you're looking for a closer. The final one, a lot of people are going to tell you to take Jake Lamb. All right, now here's the thing. I cannot hit with this dude. All right. And you're going to find that's the case too. Sometimes you're just going to find a guy that is universally loved that you just can't hit with. And that's the case with Jake Lamb. I cannot hit with this dude. I don't understand what it is, but I can't do it. So if you don't want to take him, if you need a closer, Goose Gossage and Brian Wilson are pretty good. Shout out to Brian Wilson for being absolutely psychotic. I'm pretty sure there was a guy named Brian Wilson in the Beach Boys too, and I'm pretty sure he went off the deep end, but that's not the same thing. Apparently, if your name's Brian Wilson, you just go off the deep end at some point. I'm not sure. David Dahl, especially if you need an outfielder that can get on base and hit, isn't the worst guy in the world to pick. Especially initially, you're not going to have very good offense at all. You're going to have terrible players for the most part. So David Dahl is not a terrible card to pick. I mean, obviously, when you get to the AL and NL West Diamonds, it's really just subjective. It's like what you need or who you want. Most people are going to take Mike Trout here. You know what I mean? Honestly, when it comes to the NL West, people are going to be tempted to take Bellinger. I would take Carson Kelly. He's one of the better catchers in this game. He's got a clean swing. Honestly, out here, everyone's going to take Aroldis Chapman or Wander Franco, but I promise do not sleep on my boy Cedric Mullins. He's fire. NL East, most people are going to take Acuna. Josh Bell might actually be sneakily the best card in here, at least hitting-wise. Like, he strokes the ball. And you're going to find stuff like this out by doing the programs, right? So you're going to find things like this out, like who you swing best with or who you tend to do better with by doing these showdowns. I cannot get this thing off to save my life, dude. I don't understand. I would recommend doing this one first, though, because this does give you like All-Star Game flashback Robbie Ray, who is a pretty solid. This is a relatively easy showdown to do. And it gives you a very, very solid starting pitcher to start your team with, essentially. Because you're probably going to be rocking silvers and bronzes at this point for a starting pitcher. So it's nice to have somebody like Robbie Ray that can hold it down, pitch an inning or two. And this one's not very hard. So I would probably do this. This is the first thing I would do just to get yourself like a guaranteed solid pitcher. And then I would start doing these featured programs right here. That's how I would go. Conquest. I'm a huge fan of Conquest. Big fan. Really enjoy that here. There's a few different ones. There's the Faces of the Franchise West, which will give you more XP in relation to the program, which I think is probably a good one to do. There's also stuff in here as well, like stubs, prospect packs, etc. Prospect packs are huge in the early game because those prospect cards are really, really solid. I have a couple of them on my lineup right now that I'm a big fan of. A couple of these guys I'm huge with. Like, where's my boy at? Yeah, James Woods. Shout out to James Woods. This James Woods, not Hollywood James Woods. This guy slaps the ball. I don't understand what's going on here, but I hit shots with this man. Andy Pages is okay. I got him. This guy, Duran, is pretty solid too. Like, shout out to Max Muncy too. Other Max Muncy, real solid. You might notice that I have Gavin Lux in here, and that doesn't look like very good, but they introduced this thing. I don't even know. They didn't even have this last year. Something supercharged. It's super interesting, right? This essentially gives you updated versions. So looking through the cards that we have available, you're going to see guys like Josh Donaldson, right? Let's take a look at how much he is. He is $1,500 to buy. That's actually not that bad. The reason I want to bring this up, though, is I would caution you before doing this because players can lose this very fast. It just depends if they stop performing in real life. But, I mean, looking at Josh Donaldson, he gets a plus 25 to power, plus 15 to power left. Like, boom, already. So, he's remaining 7 minutes. So, yeah, you definitely want to be careful before picking these guys up. Like, Wander Franco's is another hour. Like, you know what I mean? But if you need a quick boost, these guys are really, really excellent. I would be cautious on bigger names because it's going to cost you a little bit. But you could get pretty good value for these guys if you need a quick boost in relation to like Conquest or something else that you're doing. These are going to be the guys. And I mean, you can see there's silver guys, there's bronze guys that are going to have these boosts as well. Like, obviously I have Gavin Lux, who his boost isn't going to last for very long, but is huge. Now, if you're looking for a very solid closer that you can pick up for cheap, that's going to help you in Conquest, Clase. This dude is nasty. At a silver, yeah, no, this is the man right here. For a silver, Karinchak's really good too, by the way. Like, these guys are both really, really cheap reliever options that can really hold it down. Cleveland just always has relievers on deck, dude. It's super annoying. Like, for fantasy purposes, you just never really know who they're going to go with. It looks like Clase is who they're going with this time, but you know, I'm an avid fantasy baseball player, unfortunately, for my mental health. So Robbie Ray is another one. He's already a diamond though, so he's already kind of expensive, and I don't think his boost lasts very long, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2 hours. You can check their player report and you can see how long their boost is going to last. All right. Really, really cheap card that you can pick up that'll help you in your lineup is I'm dead serious Cole Calhoun. I don't understand why, but this dude hits significantly better than he should. Sorry, that's Marcus Semien. I don't know what it is, but I just smacked a ball with Cole Calhoun, okay? I don't know why, and he plays pretty competent defense as well, especially in the early game. I mean, he's not very expensive. Like, you can pick him up for 61 stubs, and he can help your team temporarily. You know what I mean? Max Fried is another super cheap guy that'll help out. I've been playing well with him, but realistically, any golds that you get are going to be just fine. You're going to find cards that you like. You're going to find cards that you hate. Alcantara is a really good gold. Jesus Aguilar is another silver that'll mash the ball if you're looking to quickly rise up your squad without spending very much MT. Him and MT. You can tell I play 2K. Stubs. Him and Jazz Grissom are really, really good silvers to pick up. No question about it. I hate Edwin Diaz for a variety of fantasy-related reasons, but he's still good. Schwarber's been kind of the go-to, and his price does reflect that, but his boost only lasts for another 1 hour. So, you know, you got to be careful with these guys, but I mean, if you're going to grind for a day and you see that somebody has a boost remaining for 2 hours and you just need to get through some stuff, don't hesitate to pick them up. You know what I mean? It's not going to be the end of the world, but at the same time, very, very helpful. Where's my boy at? You want to look at some guys that could potentially have boosts too. If you're looking to make flips in the market, you want to look at guys that get hot. They get hot streaks real quick. And there's a lot of guys in baseball that get hot and then fall off constantly, especially if you play fantasy baseball. You know that. There's guys all the time that'll constantly get scooped up off the waivers, and then they'll be on a team for 2 weeks and then immediately dropped. Like, those guys exist. And a lot of them, I'll be honest, are probably going to be on the Cubs this year. And why do I say that? Because the Cubs are awful. We're terrible. Can you name a single player on the Cubs roster? Probably not, right? Except the new guy, Suzuki. That's it. Like, for the rest of them, no one. They're all terrible. So at some point, these guys are going to get streaky. They're not terrible people to invest in, realistically. They're not. The Tigers are another one. Not terrible to invest in somebody like Spencer Torkelson or something. The reason I say that is he's a touted prospect. At any point, he could kind of get hot. He might get a boost, and you can flip him for a little bit more. The show is very good also at constantly upgrading the overalls of these cards. Like, you'll see constantly cards at 78 overall, but now he's an 80. They do this relatively frequently, significantly more frequently than other games do it, at least in my opinion and experience. So it's something to think about for sure. Mike Trout, Jesus Christ. He's a wee bit expensive, just a little bit. That's crazy. You get a free Mike Trout in the program. I mean, yes, he's worse, but like, dude, that's crazy. That's a little bit too much, man. That's nutty. Like I said, I would do the Nation of Baseball. Once you can get a semi-decent roster put together, the Nation of Baseball Conquest is the one I would recommend going for. The other ones are easier, and they're probably a little bit better in regards to earning things quickly. But Piazza looks really good. I actually have that card. That 2002 Topps Piazza, I have that. Like, legitimately have it in my house somewhere. I have a whole stack of baseball cards from about 2002 to about 2005. Same with NBA basketball cards. No LeBron rookies, sorry. I do have a Wade rookie somewhere. The one thing I would recommend in regards to Conquest is it looks very intimidating at first. It does. It looks intimidating. You got this giant map. You know, you don't know what you're doing. When it comes to the Nation of Baseball one, I believe you start right here. I would go in the route I went, which was ding, 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 bam, do, 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 and then go around. The reason I say that is because it allows you to finish certain divisions. And I personally think it's easier to go that side, because going to the right and having to deal with some of those squads is annoying. Outside of Houston and the Dodgers, None of these teams down here were really difficult to deal with. Once you go over here, and you're going to have to start dealing with the White Sox, which have constant off-speed pitchers, which will make your life miserable. You have to deal with Boston, and it looks like Boston has cleared the New York Yankees out of here, which is pretty tight. I like to see that. The Marlins are going to be obviously easy, and then you got to deal with the Reds. Oh my God! All right, if you bat in any of the three very closely zoomed in hitting views, the Reds are going to be your nightmare, because you're going to go hit at their stadium, and there's going to be this tree in center field, and this tree is going to be right where the strike zone is, and you can always see it, and it's always going to disguise the pitcher's hand. It's infuriating. Look, anybody who's played this game for any amount of time, maybe they don't know this, but maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only person that this affects, but I swear to God, I dread playing at the Red Stadium. Every single thing, which I believe is Great American Ballpark, which is a goddamn lie. I hate this stadium so much, dude. Cleveland is not a fun place to play either, just because you have to deal with Karinchak and Clase, who both will just absolutely smoke you. Same with Milwaukee, who's not the best team in the world, but you got to deal with Devin Williams and, I was going to say Kluber for some reason, but Hader. The CPU will go absolutely bananas on you 90% of the time when it comes to like a star level closer. I just don't understand it. Especially if they throw hard, they'll kill you. One thing I will say, number one recommendation while pitching in this game, while hitting, be patient. Please be patient. Your boy swings at everything and it does absolutely nothing. When it comes to pitching, never, and I mean never follow the instructions of the CPU. If you're pitching against a CPU, do not throw the ball to where the catcher's mitt is. Like when the little thing pops up and it tells you, hey, you should throw this pitch here, do not do that. I promise you that they will hit it 90% more if you follow the CPU's advice on where to throw it. The reason I say that is because the game does rely on game scripts for the CPU. So if you start throwing it where the game already knows it's going to be thrown, they are going to hit shots. Yordan Alvarez. Oh, this guy, dude. This dude for Houston. I think it's Yordan. I don't remember. It's their 3-hitter. I can never remember his name is. Houston has a rotating cast of like beast hitters. I always forget. But, and I never draft any of them in fantasy ever. Yeah, he hit like, I'm not kidding. He walked me off one game, and then I think 2 games in a row after that, he hit a first inning shot against me. Don't follow the game script. I promise. This is probably the more rewarding and easy one to do. I just want Mike Piazza, and in addition to that, you're getting these, Curtis Granderson kind of sucks, but he'll help, I guess. You're getting these, though. Like these prospect packs, and these prospect cards are incredibly good. Straight up. Okay. Let's go to the collection. Let's start talking about collections, right? Right off the bat, don't go seeking collection. It's going to cost you an absurd amount of stubs. It's not worth doing. Like, do you really care about 88 Kevin Youkilis? No. No, you don't. Kevin Youkilis looks like he works at a liquor store. He doesn't even look like he plays professional sports. You don't need him. Like, is 89 Gary Sanchez worth it? Ooh, 89 Gary Sanchez might be worth it. Gary Sanchez, the Sanchez is usually pretty fire in video games. Not in real life. I draft him every single year. Except this year, which means he's going to go off. Tom Hankey, dude. Yes. Ray Durham. Okay, I haven't even looked at these, dude. Jim Thome. It's Thome time. This is a pretty cheap set to lock in. Hal Newhouser isn't exactly like a name that's going to light your heart on fire, but at the same time, look at my man Andrew Chafin. It looks like we're related. You're going to be tempted to go after 99 Randy Johnson, but I promise it's not worth it. Like, Chipper Jones was usable all year last year, especially if you parallel him, but like, it's going to cost so much money to do that, and it's not worth your time. I promise it's not. There are guys who are worth it, though. Straight up. Like, my man Gary Sheffield, dog. What's up? Gary Sheffield is lit. You can sell reward cards in the show, by the way. I just want to bring that up. Not all of them. I don't know which ones you can sell. I believe the lock-in guys you're not able to sell. I think everyone else you are able to sell. Like, you're even able to sell these guys, which I think is kind of interesting. You can make a play when you first start getting these guys. You can decide if you want to sell them. I don't think it's the worst idea in the world. especially when it comes to like Trout. I don't think Trout's the most expensive in the world, like Trout and Acuna, but like a lot of people aren't selling these cards. You can make a quick 30,000 stubs if you don't care about the card. You know what I mean? If you're not locking in for 12, is that just one single ballin as a habit pack? Oh my God, I hate ballin as a habit packs. I swear to God. I swear I hate them so much. But you can make a decent amount of stubs if you just want to sell these guys. I don't absolutely recommend it, but it's a 91 Dontrell Willis. Where do I get Dontrell at? I don't know anything about this game, as you can see. Shout out to everybody who came and watched me play on stream yesterday. That was pretty cool. I got 28,000 stubs. I'm chilling. Final thing to talk about. And I know this is going to sound strange coming from me if you've watched my 2K channel for any amount of time. Under no circumstances should you open packs. I'm dead serious. It's not worth it. Like this big dog pack, in the interim, in the short term, it's probably worth it, even if you get some of the lower overall cards like Marte, Finley, Minnie Minoso, Houston Street, my boy, Tristan Cotty, whatever. These guys are probably worth it in the interim, for sure, but it would be beneficial or more beneficial to you for sure to keep that 30,000 stubs for the future. None of these guys are really going to be worthwhile outside of season 1, I don't think. You know what I mean? Yeah, if you get Bobby Witt Jr., I think he's kind of expensive, but the prices on these guys are usually chilled out anyway because you guarantee you get one for 30,000. This pack is an absolute deceptive pack. This is a 2K adjacent deceptive pack, right? You're guaranteed to find just the featured headliner's uniform item and nothing else. You are not guaranteed to get Kenny Lofton like the pack may have you believe. Just remember that. If you're going to actually spend stubs on packs, which I highly recommend you don't do, this is the one that you would do, the big dog set. Once again, I'm going to keep saying it. Wait. If you're going to open packs, at least wait. But remember, they're going to release new ones every single week. So, wait on it. And don't do this one, and definitely don't do this one for sure. Those are the ones that I would say absolutely don't do. But as always, it's been your boy Cheap Lutes. I know I don't have any game-breaking tips for you. I'm still trying to figure the game out myself. I will try to bring you some more stuff. Oh, I do have something. Okay. When you open packs, right, it's going to give you sell now if you have multiples of this player or whatever for a certain amount of stubs. Don't ever do that. Never do that, because it's always significantly less. Like, let's say I get Ryan Mountcastle. It's going to tell me I can sell him for, I don't know, 1,300 or something, right? Which is accurate in this case. But when you pull him from the packs, it's going to tell you that you could sell him for like 400 stubs. No. Go back to your collection, go view in the market, see what he's going for. Okay, the buy and sell options. If you have them for sale, don't go over here to the sell request, right? Look at the lowest buy request and sell it for that. Like if someone's requesting to buy one for $12.99, you sell it for $12.99. Put it for $12.99 and it'll get bought. Don't make the mistake of putting it at the sell amount. That's my theory. Every time I've ever put it as the buy amount, it's sold. So I don't think that I'm incorrect in saying that. I don't ever put it at the sell amount. So something to think about. I just wanted to drop that in at the end. So have a good night, you guys. I appreciate you allowing me. Well, you're not allowing me. I'm doing it myself. But, I appreciate people not freaking out because I put an MLB video on the main channel. So it is what it is. I'm a big baseball guy. Shocking, I know, based on the mustache. But I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Peace. Let me know. I'm going to release, this is like the third outro I've done, but I'm going to release more MLB stuff on the second channel, which will be in the description. You guys should go like that. If I could get it to 1,000 subs, that would be super cool. If I can, I'll upload significantly more than I would normally, because I actually make money on it. So I'm greedy.